hurt my back. Do you guys want to hear the story of how I hurt my back? You know when sometimes you get that like pinch in your back, kind of feels like a little cramp in the back, and then it kind of goes away and you're fine. I woke up on the weekend, my kid was crying, went to go change his diaper, leaned forward, got one of those, and it just stayed, and it's pretty much just gotten worse throughout the week. Well, now it's feeling a little bit better, but it's been pretty bad. I literally haven't filmed anything this week because it's been so bad. I've just been working on the Jesse documentary, Being Jesse. If you didn't see it, you should go watch it. But man, I feel pretty old that I hurt my back changing a diaper. I wish it was a cooler thing that I hurt my back on. So if I grunt or grimace or anything, I'm not mad at you guys or anything. It's just my back. And since I can't like move around too much, if things get boring, just imagine me riding on some cool electric device outside or something like that. That should help. Okay, cool. Now that that's out of the way, do you know how incredible it is that anybody on this planet Earth with an internet connection, man, I gotta really slow down these movements. Anybody with an internet connection can have an audience of millions and millions of people. And it's completely free. Well, maybe not completely free because they're selling your data and you're putting time. It's not completely free, but it's pretty much free. It doesn't matter how rich or how powerful you are, you have the same opportunity to have an audience of millions of people. And that's a pretty incredible thing. But there's so many different platforms. There's, Facebook, there's Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, the new Vine V2 Byte, I think it's what it's called. There's so many different platforms, and as a filmmaker or photographer, which one should you be focusing on? Because let's face it, it's really hard to keep up with all of these different platforms, and when you're starting out and it's just you making content, making films, or putting up photos, you kind of want to focus on one and put a lot of effort into that one. Yeah, you want to try a few different ones, but you want to focus on one, I think. And this applies to anybody in the creative field. I feel like pretty much anybody nowadays in any career. It's not just for people who want to do social media as a living or run a YouTube channel. The more people that see your work and say, hey, this guy's really good, the more jobs you're gonna get. So here's kind of my criteria for figuring out which platforms I like to focus on right now. And the first one is the user experience, because if the user experience is bad, well then that platform doesn't have a very good future. It's probably gonna plateau or die off, so you might not wanna put as much focus into that platform. So that's the first thing I look at, is the user experience. Is it fun to use? Do I enjoy it? Do the people around me enjoy using it or not? Because even if you have a million or millions of subscribers or followers on a platform and that platform goes down, well then, you got nothing. Hey Matt, come here for a second. Filming about social media platforms. How many followers did you have on Vine when it went down?
760,000.
You had 760. I didn't even know it was that much.
Yeah.
760,000, and that just went down the drain when it crashed, right?
Yeah. I mean, it kind of died before they shut it down, but yeah, essentially.
So it doesn't matter how many followers on there if the user experience or whatever about the platform is going down. Yeah. Game over. The second thing, and this one is really, really important, is the potential to be found. How easy is it to be found or to be seen on that platform? Because what's the point of having the possibility of having millions of people see your stuff if it's not very possible or not very likely at all that people will ever see your stuff on that platform? And then number 3 is monetization. You are a creator, you're spending time and effort and putting your talents into making whatever it is, and therefore I think you should be getting paid for that, even if it is a free platform, because these platforms are making so much money off your work technically. Even if it's a small piece of the pie, I still feel like you should get that piece of the pie. So those are kind of the 3 things that I look at when I'm evaluating which social media platforms or whatever you want to call them I want to focus on. It's always a little bit weird to call all these things social media platforms because I feel like YouTube, for example, isn't really a social media platform. But for the purposes of this video, we're just gonna call them social media platforms. So why don't we go through a few of the major platforms and see how they stack up against this little criteria of mine. Let's start off with Facebook, and user experience I think is kind of meh to a thumbs down. I honestly do not enjoy using Facebook anymore, and nowadays I rarely use Facebook. Probably like once a month I'll quickly just check if I got some messages on there, but I don't do anything with Facebook really these days. And that's personally. I am still trying to post some of my videos and stuff on Facebook just to see how things are on there, but personally I don't use Facebook much at all. And then potential to be found, I think is kind of bad also on Facebook. I don't think it's very easy to be found on Facebook. If you post something, it's most likely not gonna be seen by too many. And if you do want it to be seen by people, then you probably have to pay, which makes it not very convenient. It's really expensive, and most people don't have money to put just to put it out there. And if you're paying to get those views, you're not getting a true audience from that. And the crappy thing is, even if you do have an audience, then a lot of times you still have to pay in order for that audience that you have to see your work. So I don't think the potential to be found is too good on Facebook. And then monetization. There's some monetization, so I think it's kind of a meh. There's a little bit of monetization, but most people don't get paid for putting photos or putting videos on Facebook. So yeah, I think the monetization's a little bit meh. The requirements to get the monetization are a little bit steep. It's fairly hard to get it, but I have heard of some people making decent money off Facebook and their monetization program. But again, I think it's a very select, small group of people that are doing that. And then we can talk about Instagram, which I think is a little bit better than Facebook. And let's talk about user experience. I would say it's still a thumbs up. I'm kind of in between a thumbs up and a meh, but I'm more on the thumbs up side. I don't like scrolling through Instagram very much nowadays. I just don't think it's very interesting. The photos all kind of look the same. The thing that kind of saves Instagram for me is stories. I think stories are a lot more interesting. I like seeing little snapshots, little snippets of people's lives that I'm interested in, or my friends. So stories is, I think, the thing that kind of saves the user experience for me with Instagram. But I have noticed I'm using Instagram a lot less than I used to. So I don't want to say that Instagram is going down. I think it's still a pretty safe bet. I think Facebook is going down a little bit harder, but it's still such a massive platform. I am questioning the future of Instagram a little bit. I'm very curious to see which direction they go, but it's still pretty decent. The potential to be found on Instagram, that's pretty tricky. I would give that a thumbs down. I don't think it's very easy to be found on Instagram. Even if you have amazing photos, a lot of people that have just an amazing grid never get seen on Instagram. They have the little discover thing, but most of those accounts on there are really big accounts, and yeah, you have to kind of seek out finding new accounts, and I don't do that on Instagram, so I rarely, if ever, find new people on Instagram. Even for me, for example, I don't think my Instagram has grown organically. I think it's grown because of my YouTube channel. If my YouTube didn't take off, I don't think my Instagram would have ever taken off. And then monetization, that's a definite big thumbs down. There is no monetization for creators on Instagram, which is, I think, the biggest weakness of Instagram. That's the biggest negative. You can be the world's most talented photographer or filmmaker, and you can post work on Instagram for years and not get a single dime, while Instagram is making probably billions of dollars off of your work. So that seems a little bit unfair to me, and that is why for monetization, Instagram gets a big thumbs down, 2 thumbs down, I think, for that one. Twitter's an interesting one. I never used Twitter until I started doing YouTube, and then I found a lot of different creators and different people that I respect, and I just found it to be really fun to follow those people on Twitter. So Twitter is a kind of an interesting place where I don't think young people are on Twitter as much, but it does have a really thriving community. So I think it's kind of like, I think it's a fairly safe bet to focus on Twitter, and it's fairly easy to kind of keep Twitter up. So user experience is pretty good, but because of the younger generation not using Twitter as much, I have no idea what's gonna happen to Twitter in the future. And then potential to be found, I think this one's a bit tricky. I think it's fairly hard to be found on Twitter. It's kind of a meh. You can get the attention of people fairly easily by mentioning them or tagging them, but it doesn't usually translate to an audience for yourself. So I think even if you have kind of a viral post, that doesn't mean that your Twitter account is gonna grow. So I do think potential to be found, it is fairly hard on Twitter, but it is possible. And then monetization, I think there's little to none. I think they do have a monetization program, but it's a very select group of people that are getting paid for their videos. And I think it's only for videos, not for any other posts. So yeah, again, monetization, Twitter, I would give that a thumbs down. And then we get to YouTube, and I might be slightly biased in this section. User experience, I think YouTube's user experience is amazing. I think there's so much content. You can find so many different cool channels to follow, and just the way everything's laid out, it's really easy to find new videos. I really like the user experience, and I think the growth just shows that everybody is really liking the user experience of YouTube. Nowhere on the internet can you get so much free content, and it's actually high quality content, a lot of it, which is really, really great. And then a really great thing about YouTube is the potential to be found. That is a big 2 thumbs up for the potential to be found. I think it's the best out of any platform, and they just do a really good job of suggesting videos and the algorithm showing you videos after you've watched a video. Oh, you might like this video, or there's a sidebar that shows more videos that you might be interested in. YouTube just does a really good job of suggesting videos that you might be interested, even if they don't have a big audience. There's been a lot of times where I've been suggested a video from a smaller channel that has really high quality content, and I love that. I love finding new channels regardless of if they have millions of subscribers or just a couple thousand. This is one of the biggest reasons why I think YouTube is an amazing place for creators. For example, for me, I had only about 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers when my first video kind of took off, making GoPro Cinematic, and then all of a sudden I was getting a lot of views and subscribers, and I had this audience that started to build just because YouTube was really good at finding, oh, this person might be interested in this video, and that person, and YouTube just started suggesting my videos to all these different people, and now all of a sudden I had a little bit more of a platform, even though before I had nothing. Out of all the platforms, I think YouTube does potential to be found the best. And then monetization, again, 2 thumbs up. They give 55% of all the ads that they sell on YouTube to the creators. That's really, really amazing. I don't think anybody else has this rate of giving back to the creators. And that again is what makes YouTube so strong, is that you can create content, and even if you don't have any sponsors or anything like that, you're gonna be able to make money. If people are seeing your content, you're gonna make money, even if it's not your main thing. Let's say you just make a really cool travel video and you put it on YouTube and it gets viewed millions of times, then you're gonna get paid some money for that. Whereas if you did that same thing on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, you're not gonna get paid at all. Almost all of the other platforms, if you wanna make a decent amount of money, you have to rely on sponsors or selling your own products or all of those things. Whereas YouTube, even if you had nothing else, you just made videos and put them on YouTube, you would make some amount of money, which is really, really great. Yes, you do need to meet some requirements, and I think that's pretty fair and reasonable. And if you haven't made that threshold yet, then it's a really small amount of money that you're kind of missing out on. But I think it's really, really great that YouTube gives so much to their creators, because YouTube would not be the platform without the creators creating content. Same thing with Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and all those platforms, but they're not giving back to the creators. Right now, out of all the major platforms, I do think YouTube is by far the strongest. I would say there's so many different spheres that you can kind of put yourself in. If you're interested in technology, there's a whole sphere for that. If you're interested in science and learning, there's a whole sphere for, oh, my back. If you're interested in filmmaking, there's a sphere for that. Even for photographers, I think it would be really, really smart to focus on YouTube and showing your photos on YouTube, and maybe showing some of the behind the scenes or how you edit your photos, or just vlogs around you taking photos. That would really make you stand out from all the millions of great photographers on Instagram that are all kind of posting the same similar stuff. It's really hard to stand out on Instagram these days. And again, even if you're not looking to do social media as like the main thing in your career, it still helps to get a lot of those eyeballs on your work. So you make a really cool ad for Volvo, or I don't even know why I said Volvo, whatever company, and you put it on YouTube and a lot of people see that, then you're gonna get more work from that. YouTube has a massive audience. I think it's like billions nowadays that watch YouTube. So you have a lot of eyeballs that you could attract, and those are potential customers for you. Let's say you're doing wedding films, put them on YouTube. Even if you're not trying to make money from those videos, you're gonna get a lot more jobs because there's a lot more people seeing those videos on YouTube. So what about platforms like TikTok and Byte and Snapchat? Well, to me, they're not that interesting. I feel like they don't do a lot of these three things very well. I think the other platform that interests me most right now is Twitch. Twitch is really an interesting platform. There's a lot of people that are making a living from Twitch. The way that they've done the subscribers, which is kind of like monetization and then ads. So there's a few different ways of getting your videos or your live streams monetized on there. But I don't know the future of Twitch either, because YouTube is really battling hard for that live stream audience. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because Twitch is a lot smaller than YouTube, who comes out on top. Twitch does have a very loyal following, especially in the gamer world. So yeah, I'm curious about Twitch. I think I will play around with Twitch a little bit more in the future. The things that I want to do on there aren't quite possible right now. I would love to have this kind of like live stream vlog thing where I just, hang out with you guys, chat with you guys, and go around instead of just doing a live stream right here. But I might even just do some Fortnite or something on Twitch just to see what it's like. I don't know. So that's like the only other platform that kind of interests me. But I do think YouTube is by far the strongest. And even though it's the strongest, I wouldn't just focus on one platform. I would still do a few different platforms. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, because you don't know what's gonna happen. I don't think anybody foresaw that Vine was just gonna go down and just shut down all of a sudden. I don't think Matt realized he was gonna lose all those followers. I don't think people ever expect that a massive platform like Facebook, for example, could go down, but it is completely possible. So that's kind of my view on the different social media platforms and which ones you as a creator should be focusing on right now. And to be honest, I don't think any platform in the future that doesn't give a piece of that pie, a piece of that revenue, those billions of dollars that these companies are making to the creators, to the people that are making content for these platforms, if they don't give a piece of that pie, I don't think that those companies are gonna survive in the future. For example, I'm gonna call it right now, I think Spotify is gonna take over the whole podcasting area, because they do give, even if it's a little bit, they do give a little bit back to the creators. Every single listen counts for a little bit. So there's monetization on there, whereas none of the other podcasting platforms have monetization. So I think Spotify will become the place for podcasts, for example. The problem with not having monetization is that it forces the creators to do things like brand deals. And so you look at, for example, Instagram right now, all it is a bunch of ads. Creators are all the time putting out ads, and then in between those ads is actual ads from companies that have been paid to put there. So it's just like kind of one big ad that you're just swiping through. And I don't know, I get bored of that pretty fast, and you kind of lose all the storytelling and the aspects of why you followed those people, because they're just bunch of ads now and they're kind of being told what to say by these brands. So yeah, I think that ends up kind of killing the vibe of a platform if there isn't monetization and you have to constantly be doing sponsors, brand deals to make $1 on that platform. So if you're looking at which platforms you should be focusing on right now, that's how I would do it. Look at the user experience, think about the longevity future of that platform, how easy is it to be found, and then the monetization of that platform. If you like the monetization, then I would focus on that platform. All right, my back is really hurting now. This chair is not, it's just not good for if you have back problems. So I'm gonna go try to mend this. Why is it that as soon as you get sick or you get injured, that's when you get really grateful for having good health? I should be more grateful for good health. Be grateful if you don't have back pain. See you guys. Bye.